Welcome to Combat Recapped. The entire globe was just astounded by Leon Edwards. The rocky story of Edwards was brought to reality as he came from behind and knocked out Kamaru Usman with a head kick late in round 5 of the main event of UFC 278, which took place on Saturday, August 20th, 2022. Now let's get into the details. Following Leon Edwards' 5th round knockout victory over Kamaru Usman, Edwards was crowned the new welterweight champion of the UFC. In the opening round of the fight, Edwards astonished the fans when he became the first person to put Usman on his back. He used a trip from the clinch to put the champion on the mat, and before the first bell rang, he was actively working towards putting a rear naked choke on him. In the second round, the Nigerian Nightmare did not waste any time in regaining his footing. Early on in the period, he scored with a series of boxing combinations that forced the challenger, Leon Edwards, into the fence. Edwards countered Usman's attacks with several of his own, but Usman began to mix in some wrestling and began to look like the typical juggernaut that fans are accustomed to seeing. Usman's wrestling was able to counter the blows that Edwards was throwing. It seemed as though Usman was going to glide to another title defense when Edwards knocked out the champion with a devastating left high kick that quickly ended both Usman's night and his reign as champion. Edwards' victory ended Usman's run as champion. Not only does Edwards receive the satisfaction of wearing the belt, but he also gets a measure of his vengeance. In a battle that took place in 2015, these two faced each other, and Usman emerged victorious via unanimous decision on his road to becoming a champion. Since the fight against Kamaru Usman in 2015, in which new champion Leon Edwards was defeated, Edwards has not been defeated in any of his subsequent bouts. The Brit has triumphed against all those who stood in his way, including Nate Diaz and Rafael dos Anjos. Edwards is aware that, in all likelihood, he will be required to demonstrate that this result was not a fluke, which is the scenario that typically plays out when longtime champions are ultimately defeated. With the win, Edwards made history by becoming the first fighter from Jamaica to ever win a championship in the history of the UFC. He also won his 10th bout in a row, giving him a winning streak of 11 fights overall, and he ended Usman's winning streak of 15 fights. If Usman had just one more victory, he would have tied Anderson Silva for the record of 16 wins. Pound for pound, headshot, dead, Edwards told UFC commentator Joe Rogan during his post-fight interview. I said all week I felt like this is my moment. Everything that happened in the past, the last 2 years, the pandemic, there is no ring rust. I told you, now look at me now. With the victory over Usman, Edwards extended his record to 23-1. His string of wins without a loss now stands at 11. The 19-fight winning streak that Usman had been riding came to an abrupt end in the blink of an eye as he suffered his first defeat in 9 years. Usman never lost his positive attitude about the future. The former champion rushed to Twitter and made a statement about how he will come back stronger than before. Champs fuck up sometimes, but we bounce back and come with vengeance. During the post-fight news conference with the media, Dana White, president of the UFC, emphasized that there should be a trilogy. White expressed his desire to watch the rubber match take place in England and recommended Wembley as a venue for the contest. I thought that Usman fought the perfect fight, White said. You think of everything that was on the line for Usman tonight. Usman fought with absolute and total confidence all night. It might not be the most fan-friendly style, but he was landing big shots to the body, big shots to the head and elbows. He couldn't have fought a more perfect fight until that last minute. Edwards is confident that UFC fans have yet to see the best of him. He said that his worst performance still led to a knockout over the best that Usman had to offer. That was one of my worst performances out there, Edwards said at the presser. I did not feel good in there tonight. I went out there and knocked out the pound for pound. My body just wasn't reacting how it was meant to react. I don't know if it was the altitude or what it was. But even backstage, watching the other fighters on the TV, everyone was getting tired and gassing out, like Luke Rockhold, and everybody. I was wondering why everybody was tiring out. After the first round, I felt it. I felt my body wasn't reacting. It wasn't a cardio issue. It was more like my body wasn't physically reacting. That was the best he had to offer. That was the worst I had to offer, and I still knocked him out. Edwards has indicated that he would be interested in facing Jorge Masvidal in the United Kingdom if the game-bred fighter were to regain his winning ways. Now see some reactions after fight by some UFC fighters. After having a difficult time in the middle rounds, Edwards was a long way down on the scorecards and gave the impression that he was more satisfied to survive than to thrive in the competition. But one mistake made by Usman gave Leon Edwards the opportunity to dramatically turn the tables and secure what is highly likely to be considered the knockout of the year. Here are some of the reactions that fighters had on Twitter to the incredible victory that Leon Edwards had over Kamaru Usman in the main card of UFC 278. Conor McGregor: "Just like that, baby. What a game. Huge congrats, Leon Edwards, another champion." Daniel Cormier: "We wrote his obituary. Wow, congrats on a championship high kick at Leon Edwards MMA. You're the man now." Aljamain Sterling: "Usman seconds away from retaining the belt, and an insane head kick KO from Leon Edwards. Wow, Jamaica has another UFC champion. I smell a trilogy." Francis Ngannou: "Man, this sport is unpredictable." Francis Ngannou added, "Keep your head up, my brother, at Usman 84 kg. Shit happens. Love you." TJ Dillashaw: "The kick heard round the world. Congrats at Leon Edwards MMA. Trilogy fight coming soon. Respect to at Usman 84 kg." What do you think of Leon Edwards' win over Kamaru Usman to become the new welterweight champion for the first time? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to Combat Recap and hit the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Thanks for watching Combat Recap. See you in the next video.